Hi, how you doing? I'm Tim Carter. This is Ask the Builder, and we are streaming live. Welcome. Glad you're here. Make sure you announce yourself in the chat so I can say hi to you. Don't be bashful. Don't be bashful. This is going to be a pretty interesting live stream. I got a really great story to tell you. And I didn't know what I was going to talk about today, but before I went to town, I had to do a bunch of errands today. I've been putting them off. Well, what happened to me, that determined what the topic was going to be. But before we go any farther, I want to tell you, I put it up in the chat already, the link to it. You need to get this book. It's free. Just go to that link. It tells you how to make sure that your asphalt shingles will last forever. Well, last for your lifetime. That's all they need to last, right? Go get this. You also get 7 other free things. You're making a mistake if you don't do it. Just go to that link that's right there in the chat. D. Joe, I don't know if you're still here. I'm going to answer you in just a few minutes, your 2 questions. They're great questions, by the way. If you are, I don't know if Will's here yet. Will, if you're here, go check your email, your Gmail. Okay? Get caught up on the Gmail. Here's what happened today. We're going to be talking about this right now. All right, see what this is. And let me flip it open. All right. And you need to know this is part of it. So you know what these are, right? All right, here's what happened. You have to have a little backstory first. You have to know, we have to go back in time, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years. One of the benefits I have for what I do and have done all these years is I'm really blessed. I get to test a lot of products, and I get some horrible ones. I mean, really bad ones. But I also get some really great ones. And being a ham radio operator, I'm very interested in batteries and battery technology. And I guess about 2 years ago, public relations firms reached out to me, and they they said, "Hey, we got this battery pack. We'd like to send you, test it out, see what you think." And the name was really kind of odd. It was this Weego, so like Weego. I thought that's a crazy name. I didn't think anything of it. They sent it to me. I open it up. I plug it in. I charge it up. It's a giant lithium ion battery. That's all that's in here. It's just a big battery. And of course it's you turn it on, once you charge it up, you plug in the little charger wire, the low voltage thing here. It's just like charging up anything. And then here's the on button, and you can see it lights up. And then over here, you get all these lights to show you whether or not it's charged all the way, which it is. And of course, if you push this button here, it's a flashlight. So I can do that. You can see that. Then it'll be a strobe, which gives you a seizure. That's a slower one. So in other words, if you're stranded out on the highway, not a bad deal. Probably the better thing to do would have been to somehow also make a slider to make these lights red. If you had to use it as an emergency light, to stop cars from running into you. But here's the business end of this thing. So there's all these different ports of which you can get power from. So this one right here is a standard USB 5 volts. So you could charge your cell phone, whatever. This black one, the black one is 12 volts. This one's 19 volts. Not quite sure. I'd have to work on the man. I don't know what would require 19 volts. I don't know about that. This one here, though. All right. This one here could save your butt like it saved mine today. Here's what happened. We've had some really cold weather here in New Hampshire for the past 4 days. In fact, I think probably Tuesday morning, it was 6 below zero. The last time I had driven my truck was, I don't know, Saturday maybe. And I just park it over there, and I hadn't touched my truck for days, days. Finally, I had to go to town today. I had to do a bunch of errands. I go to start the truck, and of course, the oil in the crankcase was probably like jelly. I mean, the truck was cold. All right, the battery was cold. Everything's cold. And of course, typically, I mean, my truck, you just turn the key and it starts right up. I mean, right up. I mean, you don't have to crank it, but for a second. And I start to crank it, it's like, rah, 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 rah. Yeah, I mean, you've been there, all right? You know exactly what. And then all of a sudden, the click, 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 click means it's done. You're not going anywhere. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I've had this thing for 2 years. I can't tell you the last time I plugged it in to charge it. Maybe a year ago. I don't know. Been a long time. So long that I can't remember. And I had it in the truck and I thought, oh, this is good. This is good. So it comes with this because it's meant to also be a jump starter. I mean, think about this. I'm not talking some little Volkswagen Bug. I'm talking a Ford F-250 Super Duty 4x4 with a big V8 engine in it. Okay. All right. You got it. I mean, you got to turn that bad boy over. So it comes with this. So you know what it is? It's a flipping jumper set. So you follow the directions. It's really simple. Here's the directions. Here's how to make it work. I'll read it to you. It says, connect the Smarty clamps to the Weego 66, then power the unit on. I think that's a bad idea. I don't like doing it that way because there's too great a chance that the battery, the way you're supposed to, this one, black to the negative, this to the positive. Then I started to follow their instructions. Then I plugged it in. And then what happens is it's got a computer inside here, inside this. So in between the connector to the Weego and the cables, it's got this thing. And it's got these two lights, red and green. And it takes I think it took about 5 seconds to analyze it. It's checking the battery. It's checking the battery current, how much voltage is in the battery. And it says right here, it says, if the red light comes on, it's telling you, it says the vehicle battery voltage is out of range. And the range that it must be is between 0.5. So that's hardly anything. 0.5 volts and 13 volts. Okay, so I didn't get out a voltmeter, but my guess is the battery was probably 10 volts right at that point. All of a sudden, the green light came on. I go into the truck, turn the key, and it's as if it was 90 degrees out. I mean, the truck went, it started right up. It was just crazy. And then I finally understood the name of the product. Weego. In fact, we are going to town. I was so happy. I'm telling you right now. And of course, here's the link to it. Hi, Jason. How you doing? Hey, Lorene. You're in the look at you. I mean, how dedicated is Lorene that she's at Costco on her phone watching the live stream? That's got to be a first. That is, you get the award, Lorene. By the way, so here is the link for you to go look at all the specs, the tech specs, and I highly recommend you buy one of these things. This thing is, it's amazing. But remember, it's also this, you could be out somewhere and you need to have your cell phone charged. It's just got all those multiple voltages. It's a flashlight. I'm telling you, it saved my bacon. It saved me because I just thought, oh no, I'm going to have to call up AAA. They're going to have to come out. I'm going to have to take Kathy's car to town. All the garbage is not going to fit in Kathy. I mean, it was a nightmare, just like a nightmare. And then within 60 seconds, We are going. We go. We go. We go to town. We go to town. We, meaning me and the truck and the garbage and the recycling. We go. We all go to town. So anyway, it's a. I'm telling you, it's the first time I used it in 2 years, and I'm sold. I am flipping sold on it. Now what happens? Mine is the Weego 66. They now have the Weego 70. So my guess is it's got just a tiny bit more power than mine, but it looks identical to mine. And I can't say enough. I'm going to write about it in my newsletter for this Sunday. I was just so impressed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and reset up and take a better photograph of it actually connected to the battery in the truck. I think that'll be a much better battery and much better look for Weego to show people what it does. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Put them in the chat. I don't know if DJ, so before the live stream started, a new viewer, if you see it in the chat, his name is DJ. He put in two questions. The one we've already talked about. We talked about it maybe 2 weeks ago, but I'll do a quick refresher. So he says, DJ wants to know, do you have to use special types of nails for fiber cement siding? Any thoughts on types? Yeah, laptop power supply. Exactly. Oh, there you go. Interesting. I never thought about that. I didn't realize that's that's very interesting. Very interesting. This is such a great question that DJ put up. And I get these questions routinely on my website when people come there and they go to the, askthebuilder.com, and then they go to the Ask Tim page. And this is a great teaching moment. This is so great. The problem I have is I frequently look at those questions in the morning, and I've only been up for maybe 45 minutes. And I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I hope I get back and remember everything. I did a call-in radio show for 12 years. And in the last 4 years, maybe 5, I was on a really high-powered FM radio station in Cincinnati, Ohio, at 103.5 WGRR, and they were an oldies station. But I had a horrible time slot. It was so bad. I was on at 6 in the morning, 6 in the morning. And, there's some people that are up at 6, but the better time would have been 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Doesn't matter. I mean, by 9 o'clock, they were playing music. And if you watch the morning news, like your local news, or you watch the morning national news shows, well, I think they're really entertainment opinion. They're not hard news. And you see these people on at 6 o'clock, and they're like this. They're like bright. They're probably not on cocaine. They might be cocaine users to look that way. And I mean, to be all animated and ready to go. What more than likely what happened is, if they go on the air at 6, like if I go on the air at 6, the minimum time that I would wake up would have been 4:30. Probably 4 o'clock would be better, because it takes you a while to get. It's in the industry, we call it drag, just like on an airplane. There's drag. Your body has drag. And I mean, you know how groggy you are in the morning, and it just takes you a while to kind of get up to speed, to where you could have a conversation like this instead of being, go away from me, I'm still tired, blah, blah, blah. All right. You get the point. The last thing I should be doing is answering questions in the morning, 45 minutes after I'm awake. And I still get sucked into it, and it's a bad habit. What happens sometimes is, when some people ask a question like that, my response is, I'm serious. I type this. I go, when you opened up the instructions that came with the fiber cement siding, what nail did they tell you to use? I mean, it's a smart ass, snarky kind of response. But what's happening is what the people are doing, and it's really a horrible, what's happening. It's a horrible trend that I see developing. And I don't want to say that DJ's lazy. Hey, Will, oh, good, you made it. Well, if you've not, real quickly, if you've not checked your Gmail, please go do it while I'm talking. Please go check your Gmail. All right. So I'm not going to call DJ lazy, because what he's doing is he's thinking, I'll ask Tim. Tim's an expert. Tim is Ask the Builder, for goodness sake. If anybody knows what nail to use with fiber cement, it's Tim. In fact, Tim probably has fiber cement siding on his home. So surely he would know. All right, that is a valid train of thought. I'll grant you that. Here's the flaw in it, though. I don't have anything to do with the warranty of your fiber cement siding. Get it? Not a thing. The point I'm trying to make is I've been trying to educate people that I'll give you an answer. I'll tell you what I would use, but don't stop there. You go get the written instructions. You go open them up and you go see what the manufacturer says to use. Because if you then kind of go the next step and read the warranty, in other words, a lot of people never read the warranty. I'll bet that there's not 1 in 100 people that actually read a product warranty. They don't read it. They throw it away or whatever, put it in a file folder, never touch it. The warranty almost always says, for the warranty to be valid, you have to have installed it per our instructions. That's a reasonable expectation. So DJ, the answer is you're going to go look at the written instructions and see which nail they say to recommend. All right, now I'm going to give you some tips here. Number one, if it's near the ocean, even if you're within, in my opinion, 30 or 40 miles of the ocean or a body of salt water, for example, if you lived in Salt Lake City, I'm telling you right now, I would use stainless steel nails. At the very least, you're going to use hot dipped galvanized nails, hot dipped, not electroplated nails. Electroplated, yeah, I've got a really great column on my website about galvanized nails and the different types of galvanizing. I highly recommend you read that column. The other thing you need to know is you need to know that the nail itself should really, if you really want this siding to stay on for a long time, the shaft of the nail should penetrate, generally the best practice for, and this goes for all siding except vinyl siding for some reason. But for siding, that wood siding, like redwood, like the California Redwood Association, the Cedar, Western Cedar Association, all of these associations publish guidelines how to nail their siding up. And they all basically say that the nail needs to penetrate into solid wood, minimum 1.5 inches. Think about that. The fiber cement siding is at least 1/4 inch thick. And then you've got OSB, and then you've got the stud. You're going to be using a 2.5 inch nail is what you should be using. 2-inch minimum, 2-inch minimum, but it's got to be the right nail. That's the answer to the question. All right. It's a very long answer, but the step one, go read the instructions. There should be guidance in the written instructions as to what nail to use. Any thoughts on the type of indoor tornado shelters? We talked about this about 2-3 weeks ago. It's really simple. My thoughts are simply this. I would build an indoor tornado shelter out of probably 10-inch hollow concrete block. But in every other core, there would be a steel rod, 5/8 inch rod that goes all the way up, 8 foot high. And you don't have to put it all in. You can actually stub a 2-foot piece in first. And then you can lay the concrete block, watch how much mortar you put in, and then put another piece of rod in after you get the walls all the way up. You then are going to fill all those cores with pea gravel concrete, all of them, so that basically you've got a 10-inch thick solid concrete wall. And then you have to engineer. This is where it gets really hard. This is what I talked about. The big if you've looked at any of the tornado footage, especially from that last one that hit in what was it, Western Kentucky? Yeah, it was Western Kentucky. Do you have a blender at your home? You know what I'm talking about, the like a Vegematic, or it doesn't have to be a Vegematic, just a regular blender. You know, it's got that little sharp blade at the bottom, and you can put fruit in it, or you can put ice in it and some water, and you turn it on, and all of a sudden it goes, and it's spinning around. All right, so that's a tornado. So when you do that in your blender, what's spinning around in there? What, like chunks of ice, chunks of potatoes? So in a real tornado, here's what happens. These big ones, I'm talking the F4s and the F5s, they've got chunks of things spinning around in the air. Like, here's what the chunks are. Automobiles, trees, half of a roof. I mean, big chunks of things. Like, for example, it could easily pick up my pickup truck. My truck weighs 6,000 pounds empty. An F5 tornado would pick up my truck like you would pick up a can of Campbell's soup. All right. And now you've got this 6,000 pound thing spinning around, and here it comes. It's coming to your house, and boom, it crashes into your tornado shelter. All right. What do you think is going to happen? The big problem is this. It's the door. The door to the tornado shelter is the weak link. And you need to make sure the door doesn't crash in, but more importantly, after the tornado is gone, a minute later after it's gone, how are you going to get out of the tornado shelter? How are you going to get out of the tornado shelter if the door is bent? Don't think for a minute you're going to get help right away. It's not coming. It's not coming. What happens if there are power lines now down on your partially destroyed home and it catches on fire and you're in the tornado shelter? The point I'm trying to make is I can already tell you that if I was going to go to all this trouble and do this, I would have a tunnel system. I would not only have the door to the tornado shelter, I would also have a panel in the floor that I can lift up, and all of a sudden I've got access to a tunnel system of at least two exits out in the yard. And there's a good chance that over both of them, part of your house is going to be covering the trapdoor outside. So I think that the 10-inch thick walls with a 6-inch thick concrete slab on top, you're going to survive, not a problem. But the problem is getting out. I hope that answers your question. You're still here. Good. So here we go. Let me get caught up here. We're still waiting on Steve. Where in the heck is Steve? DJ says, I have read the instructions on fiber cement, but I think my contractor did not read. Of course he didn't read them. Of course he didn't read them. Oh my gosh. I hope I didn't make you crash the car, Lorraine, with that laugh. I'm sorry to laugh at that, DJ. It's a pet peeve of mine. If this is your first live stream, the regulars here will tell you that I beat up on these contractors all the time because they don't read the instructions, because they think they know better, or they might not be able to read. What has to happen is, I've talked about this at least 3 times in the past 2 months. Unfortunately, we've come to a point in time in America where with most contractors, not all, most, you have to supervise them. I know there's a contract. It doesn't matter what the contract says. Well, it does matter, because in the contract, you have to spell out exactly what's going to happen and exactly what materials are used. I mean, you have to really spell it out, or have a plan or a set of specs, whatever. But that's not enough. You have to supervise. If you're a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, you have to go outside every 90 minutes. You go outside and look at what's going on. You take photographs. You document the progress. You don't hope that it's being done right. You make sure it's done right. What a sad state of affairs. Didn't used to be that way. Years and years ago, most contractors were honorable and did a great job, and only a few of them did a bad job. But if my email is any indication of what's really going on, it's the other way around now. Most contractors suck. I'd say it to their faces too. All right, here we go. Yes, Shannon, you're late. That's okay. There's the old thing, better late than never. Yes, good night, Mr. says, and follow Department of Defense underground specs too. Yes, all you have to do with these tornado things is look at the video footage and the photographs of the aftermath of what it looks like around these houses. I mean, there's just flipping debris everywhere. I mean, think about it. Imagine your house being hit by my Ford F-250 that weighs 6,000 pounds. It's 10 feet in the air, and it's swirling around inside this tornado at 140 miles an hour. My truck crashes into your house, 6,000 pounds at 140 miles an hour. You tell me what you think is going to happen. If it hits your tornado shelter door, you tell me if you think the door is going to withstand that impact or not be bent, or you'll still be able to open it. See the problem? It's big. It's a big issue. It's a big issue. Okay. Let's see. Let me get caught up. You're welcome. I'm not trying to be tough on you, DJO. I'm just telling you, I'm answering your question and being honest. I have a no-code jump starter, and it has worked good for me. Good for you. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the wires on mine are just long enough. I mean, they're okay. They're good. It worked really, really well. If you have any other questions about anything, put them in the chat. If you like what you're hearing, hit the thumbs up. We got to get a lot of thumbs up for Google to like us, or YouTube. Don't just hit the thumbs up. It's not hard to do. Of course, maybe you don't like what you hear. I get it. Okay. Now we're going to switch gears. I have to. We're gonna do a Miss Manners thing here. A Miss Manners segment. I'm not going to do it every day, but when given the opportunity, I'm going to do something about manners and being polite, and it'll all make sense in a minute. Here's the backstory. Will understands all this because he's on my newsletter list. Thank you, Will, for being on the list. Back on January 2nd, I had teased it for 3 weeks before, but I had told the tens of thousands of people on my newsletter list that I was going to be giving them something for Christmas, but it ended up it had to be right after the New Year. And I gave everybody on the list, I gave them a copy of this. It's my book, but I gave it to them in a PDF format. I can't afford to send you this book. I mean, it cost me $8 to print one if I do it. And anyway, you can get it for free. But not only can you get it for free, you can get 7 other things for free. And I put the link way at the top of the stream, but I'm going to put it here again because when people watch this after the fact, someone may watch this live stream tomorrow in the replay. The live stream comes up just the same way it's coming up now. It comes up as it happens. So it's really important to re-put these links in. You go there, you fill out the form, you go to your email, click the confirmation thing, and then you're going to go to a page where you then are able to get the free files. All right. So it's the least you can do to get on my newsletter list if I'm giving you $110 worth of stuff. All right. So that's the context. All these people getting all this free stuff. So not only did I share that with my newsletter list, I shared it here on YouTube, and I shared it with all of the readers who read my syndicated newspaper column. All right, so that's the context. And last week, we had a lot of people from Chicago who came and got it. They read my column in the Chicago Tribune. Earlier this week, the Hartford Courant in Hartford, Connecticut, and it's appearing in other papers over the next few weeks. Today, now here, you need to know this. I put a very special URL. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll put it here so you can actually see it. So this is the exact URL that was published in 60 newspapers around America. Now, what you're going to notice, I mean, you might not notice it because you're just in a rush, but this is a special redirect link, as is the other one right above it. In other words, look what's after the // There's a subdomain. It's very subtle. It's go, G-O, go. It's not https://askthebuilder.com, blah, blah, blah. It's https://go.askthebuilder.com/blah, blah, 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 blah. All right. So and if you don't type the go in, then you just end up at my homepage. So it's and you're not where you're supposed to be. So that's the context. So earlier today, remember, we're doing a manners session. We're doing manners. You know, you need to have manners. I don't know if your mom and dad taught you what manners are, but you need to have manners. If you don't know what it means, go look it up. But here we go. At 9:35 this morning, and I'm sorry that I'm going to call her out, but I am. Jane Hopkins. I don't know where she lives. I don't know what city she lives in, because she didn't talk about what paper she saw it in. But here's what she said. Okay, Tim, I followed your instructions to get your free PDF copy of your ebook. Had to sign up for your newsletter first. Okay, but never saw this free PDF or any other things you were offering for the new year to help out consumers. Just a 40% deal. Nice, Tim. Really nice. Never thought you would be a bait and switch kind of a guy. Also, your website is so full of ads and gimmicks to buy things. It really is kind of horrible. Thanks for nothing, really. Jane. What you need to know is Jane, in her email, she sent me a copy of what she had received for the newsletter subscription. And I could tell that she had not typed in the go. She had not typed in the go. All right. So I replied back to her as politely as I could, took everything I had. And I just said, I as much as you might not think you made a mistake, I'm pretty convinced you did, because thousands of other people didn't have the problem you have. And the reason they didn't have the problem is because they entered in the URL the right way. And here's what I think you forgot. And I gave her the landing page she was supposed to have ended up at. And then not only that, I did her another favor. I gave her the thank you page. In other words, what happens is, had she signed up the correct way, and had she clicked the confirmation link in her email, she would have ended up at this page. And I just put it in the link. And you can go there, click that link and see where you end up. Click that link. And you can see right away, it's like, hey, thanks for signing up. The free files you wanted, they're right below. Click that link. Magic's going to happen. I'm telling you, the reason I use these redirects is so that I can count it. It's got a counter on it. I did all this work so that I could know how many people downloaded the file. And so had she done it right, had she gone the right way, she would have never typed that email, because she would have had her free files and she would have been happy as a lark. But no, she immediately assumes I'm this bait and switch guy. She immediately says she did everything right. I'm smart Jane. And evidently she's not so smart, or she didn't do it right. I don't want you to be like Jane. Don't be like Jane. Don't be like Jane. What she should have done is she should have sent an email, Dear Tim, I tried to get your free file offer, and I don't know if I did something wrong, or there could be a problem with your website, because instead of getting a free offer, I got this other screen that said it was only 40% off. Could you please help me? That's what she should have sent. But Jane, she might wear some small clothes that are too tight. She's wrapped too tight. All right. And she's got a lot of stress going on in her life. She's got hypertension possibly. I mean, there's no need for you to be that way. Don't you dare blame somebody for something unless you absolutely know that they are guilty of it. So that's your manners for the day. So shame on Jane. So just so you know, I have yet to hear from her. Now, she may be busy at work or whatever, but I responded to her right away. And I've yet to hear from her. And I doubt that I will hear from her. What I would love to hear back from her is, Dear Tim, I apologize. You are right. Now that I look at it, I goofed up. I did not see those pages. I obviously typed the URL in incorrectly. That's what you should do. But that's the other lesson. Then we're going to move on. The big flaw that most people have, and you may be guilty of this, I don't know how old you are, but as you get older, two things happen. Two things, generally, not all the time, generally speaking. Well, actually, three things. You might get a little overweight. I can speak to that. Your heart can get harder. There's an old Indian saying, your heart may never be as soft as it is today. All right, think about that. As you get older, your heart gets harder. So it's easier for you to hold a grudge. But the other thing that happens is, generally, not all the time, your ego gets weaker. Like in the case of men, testosterone levels crater. And testosterone, it's a magic chemical for a lot of things, but it's also one that, for bravado and ego and whatever. The point is that you can become more cynical. Also, it's all these bad things. You also get more wise, or you're supposed to get more wise. But Jane, she was in a bad place this morning. So if you find yourself in a bad place, just relax. Just don't communicate with anybody. Don't make an idiot of yourself. Simple as that. All right. Why don't you ask some questions? I told this to Will. I had an email conversation with Will yesterday, and Will, I made it clear to Will that it's impossible to ask too many questions in the chat. It's impossible. That your questions in the chat are that's what powers the live stream. If you don't ask questions in the chat, then I'm just going to start rambling on about who knows what. But maybe you like that. I don't know. It's harder for me to do that. Just so you know, it's much harder for me to carry on that one-sided conversation if I don't have any questions. So just keep that in mind. So if you've got a question, put it in the chat. In the meantime, what we'll do, I'm going to go, because I don't have a question from you, then I am going to go into my email, and I'm going to give you an example of a typical question that I get, and then we'll just answer that person's question, but it'd be nicer if I was answering your question because you're here. And let's see. This is a really interesting one. I got this one this morning too. You may have been on the live stream. I think it was last week. I think it was early last week. Don't ask me how it happened, but there were some young kids, young school kids. And when I say young, I'm assuming maybe late middle school, probably high school. And they came onto the stream, one or two of them, and they said, "Hey, could you say hi to our teacher? It'd be awesome." And it was a little confusing. They were typing these really brief messages, and I was having a hard time understanding what they really wanted me to do. I finally got it after the third or fourth try, and I answered. I said, "Oh, I got it." And I went, "Hey, hi, Mr. Blah blah blah." It was Mr. Amaral. It was his name. "Hi, Mr. Amaral. I'm Tim Carter, and your CAD students are here, and they wanted me to say hi to you." Well, they showed him the live stream, and I said in there, I said on the live stream last week, if that's when it was, that, "Hey guys, depending on where," I said, "I'm happy to do a Zoom call with you if you want, into your classroom." And here's what I got today this morning at 11:33, and luckily they're in Massachusetts. "Hello, Mr. Carter. My CAD student sent you a message on one of your recent live streams. I am following up to see if we can set up a Zoom call with you in the next few weeks. My students were super excited about the opportunity." How cool is that? All right, that is just awesome. So I cannot wait to do that Zoom call. And I'm pretty. The sad thing is it would be awesome to record it, but most schools, for all the privacy reasons, would never, because the kids are not adults. They would never. I would love to have a recording to share with you, but that's not going to happen. You're just going to have to get my. You're just going to have to get my. What I may do is, with their permission, is I have a really nice standalone digital voice recorder. And I may ask their permission if I could at least get a digital audio copy of everything. That way you'll hear their voice, but you won't know who it is. But I got to get their permission to do that. Let's see here. Here's a really interesting question too, and then I'll go back to see if if you've got a question for me. This is from Bob, who lives in Connecticut. This is a really typical question that I get. This is really good. And then you'll understand why most of the time I tell people something. And I'll tell you what my answer is after this. He goes, "Hi, Tim. We had a new crown." And what he means by crown is a chimney crown. "And some bricks replaced on our chimney in October. We have a top mount Lamance damper that leaks rainwater and drips condensation into the fireplace." Lamance, it's a really neat damper. The Lamance damper, most fireplace dampers are right about 8 inches up in the firebox. So you have to kind of reach your arm up to the lever that's hidden. Typically the lever's all soot covered. So your hand comes back black as can be, covered with soot. And you have to open and close the damper there. Lamance is a damper that actually fits way up on top of the chimney. And it's a big cast iron, and it's just, it's a spring activated, thing like this. So, and it's got this big long chain, stainless steel chain that extends all the way down. And what you do is you instead of reaching up and doing the lever, you have to move the chain to open up the damper. All right. So that's what a Lamance damper is. But his damper is leaking rainwater, and that happens, and condensation in the fireplace. But that shouldn't be happening, just so you know. So that tells me that his fireplace was not built right. A properly built fireplace, the way that if you saw a side view of it, it's got a smoke shelf, and the smoke shelf is supposed to capture all of the water that comes down the chimney. Yeah. You got to understand that masons from hundreds of years ago, they figured all this out. Bob's not the first guy to get water down his chimney and have water come down and put the fire out, for God's sake. I have all of this on my website. You can see all of this. Go read all my fireplace columns. Here we go. And he goes, but then he says, "That's another story. We got a proposal from a company that proposed that we get a full cap to cover most of the crown. I asked in an email how it was mounted. They haven't responded. My research shows that it can be glued or screwed into the crown. Drilling into our new crown to mount screw posts just seems wrong to me. Gluing begs the question as to how do you get it off to clean the flue? would a flue-mounted cap work instead of a full crown cap hat? What would you? And he goes, what would you choose? My response. So, do you see how complex that is? Do you think you could answer that in one sentence? Because I've been doing this 28 years. If I answered it in one question, one sentence, I guarantee you, I would bet you $1,000 Bob would come back with at least two more questions, because he goes, well, wait a minute, what you know? So in other words, for me to give him the explanation he needs without him asking any follow-up questions is a conversation. So my response was simply this. I go, maybe, ... So, because his question was, would a flue-mounted cap work instead of a full crown cap? So my answer was maybe. And then I put ... lots of moving parts. I feel this is worthy of one of my phone consult calls. Cost $50, $50. We're going to see if Bob gets back with me. And I am willing, I'll tell you right now, I am willing to bet you. I don't know if you're willing to bet me, if you're willing to take the bet. And if you are, put it in the chat and I'll write it down. I'm willing to bet you he does not get back with me. He does not, he's not willing to spend the $50 on this very multi-expensive thing that you cannot afford to get wrong. You cannot afford to get this wrong. If you get it wrong, it's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to fix it. But anyway, I'm willing to bet you an ice cream that I'm willing to bet you an ice cream cone. I've got it at my website. You can buy me an ice cream cone on my shopping cart. That Bob does not get back, that Bob does not buy the consult call. He'll just, no, not doing it. I bet I don't hear from Bob again. Let's see if you've got a question for me. All right, finally, here we go. Okay, Lorraine. Thanks, Will, for getting rid of that guy. John, supper is going to be here at the Carter House in about 2.5 hours, just so you know. Lorraine says, using the microphone, I have a quick question. If you're putting in a new manufacturer flooring, maybe this is a good topic for next week. Do you have a recommendation over LVP, except question? Okay, Lorraine, if you're able to hear me, I know it's a little tough to do what you're doing. You should probably just concentrate on driving. No more questions, please. I don't want you distracted. Email me, please. Email me exactly what you're talking about. I need the best thing for you to do is you got to be really clear about what you're talking about. And I need to have a clear understanding of exactly what you're trying to do there. And especially the type of flooring. Like what type of flooring are you talking about? Are you talking laminate flooring? Are you talking tile? Are you talking engineered hardwood? Are you talking carpeting? Are you talking vinyl tile? I mean, you see the problem? You need to email me that you need to email me and go into much more detail. If you have any other questions, now's the time to ask them. Would love to get a good question. Okay, here we go. There's Will. Will to the rescue. Do I have a humidifier in my home? I shouldn't say Kathy has at least 3 of them running right now. I do not have in my house. My house is heated with radiant heating. It's not a forced air system. So that means there's no duct work. And typically in most homes, where I came from in Cincinnati, it was the exact opposite. In Cincinnati, Ohio, most of the heating systems in Cincinnati, I would say 99%, are forced air. And the reason why is because Cincinnati gets really hot and humid in the summertime. From June 1st until the second week of September, you could have temperatures in the 90s with a dew point, pushing 70. I'm here, and I know the people in New Orleans and Houston are laughing, huh, because their dew points are higher. But I'm telling you, if it's 90 degrees out and the dew point is 70, when you just walk out the door, even in the shade, you just start perspiring like crazy. And the reason you're perspiring and sweating so much is because the dew point is so high, 70%, that the perspiration that's coming off your body, it can't evaporate. It's got no place to go. So it just runs down your face and runs down your underarms and runs down your neck and runs off your head. If I've been out west a ton of times, I mean, my college degree's in geology, it's the exact opposite out west. In fact, if you've never been out west before and you go out there in the summertime, it's very dangerous, especially if you're an older person. The trouble with older people, us older people, we tend to lose our sense of thirst. It diminishes. So you go through the day and you're not drinking as much. Whereas a younger person's like, wow, I need a glass of water. You can get out west, you perspire, but you don't feel it. It doesn't run down your face. Why? It's so dry out there. The humidity levels are so low that the instant the perspiration gets to your surface of your skin, it's gone. It's in the air. It's really unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I've witnessed it. I'm telling you, you have to really work hard to actually perspire and see the perspiration. All right. So anyway, to answer your question, Will, we have humidifiers in the house. They're smaller ones. Kathy uses them. My wife is, she hates when I say this, but she's a professional orchid grower. And typically the definition of professional means that she's getting paid, but she doesn't sell anything. But I'm here to tell you that she grows orchids and gets them to rebloom constantly, just like professionals do. Whereas you may go to the grocery, buy an orchid, it's blooming, and you'll never get it to bloom again. And I can tell you why, but I'm not going to tell you right now. She has humidifiers going in this time of year because because the winter air is so dry, she needs to keep the orchids moist. But we don't have a whole house humidifier. She actually uses our well water. She's not using distilled water. Nala. Oh my gosh, I need to take a screenshot of that. That's the name of one of our cats. Nala, we named our cat after you. Yeah, this is great. Here we go. New houses nowadays are being built with PVC plastic pipes for water line instead of metal. Plastics have BPA, which is very bad for one's health, especially babies. Correct. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes, Bob should give me a call. I know Bob is crazy. Well, Bob has to pay for the call, and then we set up a time, and then I call him up. I have PEX pipe in my house. I don't think PEX has BPA in it. I have Upone or PEX. But I agree. PVC is not a good idea because the PVC over the time can get brittle and it can fracture. So I would not put CPVC in for water lines ever, never. But you're exactly right. You got to watch. You got to watch that. Now, what we do here in our house, for all of our drinking water and cooking water, we have one of those, and I don't know if it gets it out, but we have one of those zero water containers. This, the water that I drink it comes out of the well, and our well is really pure water, but it goes through PEX to get to this faucet. And, but we then put that water into the zero water canister, which supposedly filters everything out. I don't know if it gets rid of BPA. That's a great question. I think I'll look into it though. So I try. So we use that same water for cooking. So the water that's coming through the PEX to shower with or whatever, I don't care about it, because I'm not drinking the water in the shower. So Nala, so Lorene is not. I don't think she's. I hope she's not watching. She better not be. Lorene is a regular, and she was out shopping, and she normally. I think she's home when she watches the live stream. But exactly, I don't want her to be talking to me until she gets home, and she probably won't get home. I mean, she put it up farther. It's going to be a while. I think I'll be off of here before she gets home. Yeah, exactly. Shannon says that she's listening on her cell phone. Exactly. Um, I, I feel like taking a screenshot of your name and showing it. I am. I'm going to take a screenshot here real fast and send this to my wife to send it to Kathy because she's got to see that Nala was asking me questions. I'm going to go when I go downstairs for dinner. Here, there's a backstory to everything, right? All right, and here, you need to understand this. I don't know if you're married. I don't know how many years you've been married. If you're a survivor, Kathy and I are going to be married 48 years this September. How she put up with me, I have no flipping concept. So what happens is when you've been with somebody that long, and also we were dating for 5 years before that. So she's known me 53 years. So you know what happens. And in our entire marriage, maybe we've had 3 arguments. Maybe. Might be 2. What happens, you have all these like little inside jokes and these little, I don't know what you call them, like little, like love jabs. I guess that's what I would call it, like a love jab, meaning I will say something that would irritate her, but she knows I'm kidding. Whereas if I didn't do it, it's like I don't care about you, or I don't. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm sure you do the same thing. So one of these little love jab things is, see, we've got 2 cats. They're both Savannahs, and one of them is named Nala. And Nala is this female cat, and Nala is a badass. Everything about Nala is badass, and and it's spelled the same way as Nala here spells her name. So anyway, so I blame Nala for everything. If something goes wrong, I mean, that's and Kathy she just like shakes her head, I go, like I'll go downstairs and say, you're not going to believe what Nala did. Kathy doesn't even want to hear about it, because I'm being mendacious when I do it. All right. So, or I'll just say, if something is broken or missing, I'll say, are you serious? Are you serious asking that question? You already know who took it, who stole it. It was Nala. I blame everything on Nala. So now I'm going to go downstairs at dinner time and I'm going to say to Kathy, you're not going to believe this. Nala got on the computer and contacted me on the live stream. And she's, and I'm not going to say Nala the cat. So I'm going to, then tomorrow I will take that screenshot I just did and send it to her and say, see, I was telling the truth, because she says I lie all the time. Oh my gosh. Well, ours are our 2 Savannahs. Anyway, let me if you got a minute, I will do a okay, if Lorene was here, or Nala, if I assume you're a woman, you're going to get an example of why men suck. We flipping suck because we cannot multitask. Here we go. I am going to share with you really quickly a photograph of our 2 cats. All right, so of the 2 Savannahs. Now they're like F3s, I think. They are F3s. Here we go. Here we are. This is a great photo of these guys. So I'm getting a link out of Google Photos. So I'm just creating a link. I don't care that you see this photo. There's no people in it, blah, blah, blah. So here we go. So Nala is on the left in this photo. Nala's on the left. Trying to paste it in. Come on, sometime today. And our cat Finn is on the right. Finn is bigger than Nala. Finn probably weighs 3 pounds more than Nala does. They're not too big. There's different the savannas. I mean, when they breed the domestic cat with the wild cat, they can go down steps. And I think ours are in F3. I think we're down 3 steps. So our 2 cats are much closer in size to a regular domesticated house cat. But when you see the markings on them, you're going to say, holy tomato, those are savannas. And they are. All right. So, all right. So here we go. The truck painting. I bought so that's a great question, Shannon. Shannon's asking about this. Shannon's asking about this Matchbox truck. That's made out of aluminum, and I bought it for my son for a Christmas present. It's probably about 50 years old. I think these were made in the 1960s. Could be 70 years old. I don't know, but they're old. And I'm painting it tomorrow. I got the paint today. So I'm going to take really great photographs, really great before photos, really detailed ones, and and I'll put that up on my on askthebuilder.com. So you'll see if everything goes right. I've blocked out the whole day tomorrow to do this, and I doubt that the paint may be dry enough that I can pick it up and show it on the live stream tomorrow. So and I would have to do that at the very least because my son's coming here Saturday, and I want it all to be done and dry and give to him on Saturday. All right, here we go. Some more questions. So remember, Nala is on the left. She's the cat on the left in that photo. Joe says, my house is 40 years old with a regular fireplace. After last year's ice storm, I've been considering a fireplace insert to give me some significant heat if this happens again. What do you think? Okay, that's a great... So fireplace inserts are good. The disadvantage, so understand this, the disadvantage is that you lose a considerable amount of space. So you can't have as big a fire. My vote, if you want to know what my vote would be, it's really interesting. We talked about this in the past. My vote would be no fireplace insert. I would put in a freestanding wood stove that is pipe that they make they'll make a fitting that gets the smoke up into the chimney, but stops cold air from coming into the room. That's not hard to do. And the reason I like wood stoves is number one, personally, but you may not like the fact you may not want to give up the space in the room. I get that. Okay. I think they're better looking. They give off way more heat, I think. And that's easy to check because if the fireplace insert company is a good one, for example, I'm trying to think of the top names out there. Isn't it funny? It's like right on the tip of my tongue, the top fireplace manufacturers. But if they are a good manufacturer, they should publish the BTU output of the device, of the insert, and you might be able to compare that to what the heat output might be for a freestanding wood stove. The answer to the question is, it's a good idea. It's a great idea to have a backup way to heat your home. So yes, I'm all in favor of it. Yes, Shannon, they're good-looking cats. Kathy loves them. I think she loves the cats more than me. I know she doesn't, but she does. I mean, she really likes the cats. You don't even want to think about. I mean, I would never abuse an animal anyway, but the cats they're very interesting animals. And what's interesting is the personality of those 2 cats is like night and day, completely different. And they still fight. They're still pretty playful. They're good cats. Wow, I cannot believe Will says he can't see the links. So I'm telling you, I got to believe that's a browser issue. I'm using Chrome and I can see everything. I'm just make sure you've got the latest version of Chrome running. That's the only thing I can think. Check for updates. So I'll ask this question. We have, I don't know how many people are watching. Oh yeah, 14. I see now. let me ask this question. I'll just do it this way. This is the best way. This is a tool that they give us. Please answer this. Please take this vote. This will help Will a lot. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble typing. See all the links in the chat. All right. So, and please take that poll. Please answer that. I'd appreciate it. Will's going to appreciate it. Please answer that. Can you see all the links in the chat? Yes or no? Can you see them? Because Will says he can't see them. So I'll tell you what I'll talk about real quickly. I'll hold it up. So this is my keyboard, wireless keyboard. The wire is the power wire coming in, so I can keep it charged all the time. Pretty thin keyboard, you know. Anyway, and if you were to look at, actually, I'll hold it back up again so you can see it, because I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to teach you something kind of cool. You may have never heard of this. You never know what you're going to learn on an Ask the Builder. I'm sorry about that dirty key. I don't know what happened. So this is a QWERTY keyboard. See, QWERTY. That's called QWERTY. All right. So you probably have one too. And the QWERTY keyboard is pretty much the standard keyboard. Now here's the story. This is a true story. All right. Wow. You see, I don't know. Will, you might not be able to see the results. I can see the results of the poll. So far, 100% of the people that are taking the poll can see the links. That means the problem's at your end. It's got to be an outdated version of the browser, and it's just got to be. I don't know. You got to be running Chrome, and you got to make sure it's the most recent version. Simple as that. And anyway, what I'll do, Will, is after the live stream, I will go look at my version and tell you what I've got. Oh, DJ wants to know what I'm. All right. So see, Will also then says, when I try to vote, it says it didn't go through. Try again. So that it's got to be a browser compatibility issue. It's the only thing it can be. And DJ wants to know, by links, you mean all the people watching this on YouTube? Well, in the chat, yes, that's correct. All the people. So for example, I'll put in another link. I'm going to put the link in again for the photo there's a link I just put in for the photograph of the two cats, Nala and Finn. So there's a link. I mean, that's the link I'm talking about. Now here's just so you know, after the stream ends, YouTube curates it, they process it, and they treat this live stream the same exact way they would treat a regular video that I would upload. I've uploaded over 700 videos, and they're out on YouTube. You can watch them for free. So later today or tomorrow, you can come back to my channel. I'm sure you can go up to the live section, and you're going to see this video. And what's really cool, because it's something I control when I set the video up, is this chat stream that you see right now. The chat stream is recreated exactly as you see it for the whole world to see. So that's why the other day, if you remember when that person was here, I don't remember what his name was, but he was putting in a bunch of silly comments, that just made him look silly. I said, no, don't. I said, stop doing that. Just put comments in that add value, because I knew that everybody in the world is going to see that comment. Now, they might not know who that guy is because he's got his name, he's got a fake name or whatever. Okay, I get it. But they might be able to figure it out if they put on their Columbo trench coat and do enough work. And they might be able to find out who the idiot was. Right. So I don't mean to call him an idiot, but I think if you were here, you would agree. Some of the things, they were just very childish, silly things. So the bottom line is, everyone in the world can see these links that I'm putting in when this gets curated, and as long as they have a browser that can see it. So we got to figure out why Will can't see it. Yeah, they are cute. They are very cute cats. They're very nice cats, very great cats. And of course, the favorite cat is my wife's favorite one is the one on the right. That's Finn. I can tell you that when Finn passes away, it is going to be a very bad day and a very bad couple of weeks. And I can tell you that in very short order, we will have a kitten in this house. I guarantee you that. Okay, what? You got to head out. What the heck? Jason, thanks for being here, buddy. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow. I will be here, the good Lord willing. So Shannon says, yes, at DJO, they are links that are pasted into the chat. That's correct. The links are embedded in the chat. They're not going away. I've never even bothered to look at a stream that I've done in the past to see if I can go in and delete a link. I might be able to do that. So here I'm going to publish the poll results. So only 75% can see the links and the poll. All right, so I've ended the poll. So you should be able to see the results. 75% can see them. Yeah, the cats are beautiful. They are really good cats. They're really, really great cats. Good for you. The link's open fine for you. Good for you. I can't think of anything else. We've been on for an hour and 11 minutes. Crazy. I'm serious. Today it feels like about 5 minutes. It feels like I've been on for 5 minutes. I just don't know. Charles. Interesting. Okay, you didn't see the link, but it did when I logged into YouTube. Okay, I can't explain it, but in my dashboard that I'm looking at, I've got this big dashboard. I see myself big time here. And then over here on the right-hand side, I see the big column of all the comments. It's got a scroll bar. I can go all the way up to the first one today. I'm doing it right now. I can go all the way to the top. Now I can come all the way to the bottom. I see where the poll is. Will's got 2 cats too. Yeah. Cats. We've had cats our entire marriage, Kathy and I. We've always had cats. We had one dog that passed away about 3 years ago, and that was a really bad day for me. And you can read all about it on my radio blog if you go to w3atb.com. So I'll put the link in, but I'm not going to go grab the page because it'll make me too sad. w3atb.com. So if you go there and in the search engine you type Lady, just Lady, just type that in, you'll see photographs of Lady the dog, and you can read all about Lady the dog. So I don't think I could go through that again. So Kathy would love to have another German Shepherd puppy. If she said she had to have one, I wouldn't say no. What happened is Lady and I bonded. Lady and I were the pair. Lady, the dog, loved everybody else in the family, but Lady and I were the couple. And she was an amazing German Shepherd. And one of the things I would do with her when she was a little younger is here's what's so amazing about dogs, at least I think. I'm not an expert, all right? But especially like a German Shepherd, they are really smart dogs. They're so smart. So Lady the dog probably weighed 70 pounds, 75 pounds. So she could easily, with no effort, I'm telling you, with no effort, she could break my arm. She could bite my arm right here, and she could snap it in half. She might be able to actually bite it off. But I know she could break my arm. That's not even a problem, because I saw her break sticks that were thicker than my arm bones. I used to play this game with her. I had these really big, thick leather gloves, almost like engineer gloves, but thicker, heavier. Well, like welding gloves, really thick. And I would put them on and we would go outside and we would start to fight. And she loved it. We would start to fight and she would bite me You know, and she got so, when she saw me grab the gloves, her eyes got this big. She thought, oh, awesome. We're going into the octagon. She thought, oh, awesome. We're going into the octagon. We're going to go fight. She was so happy. And, but what was interesting is no matter what I was wearing, it could be summer, it could be winter, but she knew exactly how much pressure when she bit me, and she would bite me, but she would never break the skin. She knew exactly how hard to bite me so that she wouldn't hurt me, but that she would communicate, I'm kicking your butt right now. And if I wanted to, I would break your arm. You know, that's what she was saying in dog language. And it was so cool. I mean, it was just amazing. And she died very unexpectedly. She was fine. And 45 minutes later, she was dead. She had a heart attack. It's a very, very hard day. So anyway, here we go. So Shannon says, we don't have a cat, but we treat the neighbor's cat like our own. Very interesting. Even feeding. Yep. My son Ronan loves cats. The kid you'll see in our videos if you watch the videos on our channel. Okay, I have not gone to your channel, but I will. Anyway, animals are good for the spirit. Here's I'll just say this. I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. I don't even know that what I'm going to do is the right thing, the right chemical name. But I can tell you that there are chemicals that in your brain, I think they're endorphins. I think that's what they're called. But when something happens, I mean, it's like a little, it's like I've never done drugs. All right. So, never done any drugs, but I imagine it's like getting a little shot of cocaine or a little shot of something. I don't know, where when you get this little burst of endorphin in your brain, it makes you happy. It's awesome. It's a great feeling. I mean, it's just a wonderful feeling. Here's the problem with dogs. You might get 100 endorphin shots a day because every time the dog wags its tail, every time the dog looks at you with those eyes and looks up at you and wags its tail, every time the dog comes and puts its head in your lap, all of those things, it makes you feel good. And when Lady died, that was it. There were no more endorphins. So if going off of drugs is like that, I can see why people have a really hard time going off drugs. It was really hard not to have those endorphins. Yeah, thank you. She was a great dog. And I'm not the first person to suffer. This happens to anybody who has a pet that passes away. I mean, that's why there are pet cemeteries, and people actually put gravestones up for their pets. So anyway, you understand where I'm at and what happened. I'm sure it's happened to you, and I'm sure it's 1,000 times worse if it's a child of yours that you lose. No parent should ever have to bury a child. No, but it happens all the time. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. I think it was a pretty daggone good live stream. I'm so worried about Steve. I was missing Steve. I still miss Steve, but now I'm starting to get worried. I'm thinking about going to his channel. In fact, that's what we should all do. So his channel is it's got to be Lennon Polo. So LENNONPOLO is his YouTube channel, and we all need to go there and find a video and leave a comment and say, Steve, we miss you. Come back. Are you okay? So I'm going to do that after the live stream ends here. Oh, I'll tell you what I forgot to do today. I just totally forgot. Here's why. I was getting ready to do this before the live stream, and I don't know how it happened. I pulled up YouTube or whatever, and there was a suggestion to see like the best punt fakes of all time, and there was like a 25-minute video of all these professional football games where the punters faked or whatever. It was an amazing video to watch. Actually, I was like, holy tomato, those guys really got faked out. So I used to play football, so I know a little bit about it. Nala, you're very welcome. I cannot wait. You should come back. You need to come back tomorrow if you can to hear what Kathy had to say. When I say, you're not going to believe it. Nala, Nala was on my live stream today talking to me. And of course, Kathy's going to think I'm lying. That's the good part. And I'm going to say, well, I'll prove it to you. And she'll say, fine, go ahead, prove it to me. Because she'll think I'm lying. And then tomorrow, I'll let her sleep on it all night. I'm not going to show her today. Oh, he's on his way to Florida. He better not be. I'm not going to Florida. I can't leave my house in the wintertime. Because I'm the snow guy. I need to be dealing with this snow, and Kathy cannot do it on her own. So anyway, all right, I'm out of here. Thanks for being here, Nala. It's great to meet you. Great that you're here. Charles, you too. Look at you. You say my dog just looks at me when she wants to go out. Good at you or at dinner time. Of course, they're smart. Dogs are so. Exactly, Will. You're exactly right. You can tell a lot about people the way they treat animals. That's exactly right. You are so right. Dogs are so, and cats too. Many animals are smart. They're so smart. I don't think we give them a lot of credit. I'll tell you some of the smartest animals, squirrels. Oh my God. Those guys, they are so smart. I mean, if there's food around, they're going to figure out a way to get to the food. There's a guy on YouTube that's made all these things to show you how smart squirrels are and how tenacious they will get to the flipping food. DJ, that was a great analogy between the love of dogs and drug abuse. I think it's true. It helps me to exactly. So if you've not had a pet like Lady, I mean, and I think it's more so dogs than cats because what people always complain about cats is that cats are so like blasé. They're like, well, whatever. The cats are like, get away from me. They like to be petted and some of them, but for the most part, cats are kind of detached. But dogs, are you kidding me? Most dogs, like, they come to you, they want to lick you. They all that the dogs want to do is please you. Most dogs, they just basically they're coming up to you saying, what can I do to please you right now? What can I do? Do you want me to wash the windows? If I could figure out how to do it, I would do it. Do you want me to wash your car? I'll do it. Do you want me to clean the house? Show me how. I'll do it. That's what dogs are. They want to please you. They want to please us. and that's how they're wired, And I think it's true because of their deep in their brainstem with the pack mentality, they always want to please the alpha dog, the pack, the head of the pack. Because if they don't, they get their butts kicked out of the pack. All right. Yes, of course they like to study the squirrels. Yeah, Mark Rover, you're exactly right. The squirrel videos, they're fantastic videos. What that guy did to create those videos, he put a lot of work into it. Look who's here. What the heck? Oh, man, you made it just in time, dude. We have been talking. Have your ears been burning? Are you serious? I just gave everybody assignment 10 minutes ago. We're going to flood your flipping YouTube channel, and we're going to leave comments on your videos. We wondered if you were still alive. Are you okay? That's all I want to know. Are you okay? I just want to make sure you're okay. Just been working a lot. We've been concerned about you. Are you okay? Let us know. Yesterday we did a poll about you. You're probably typing like crazy right now. He's typing like crazy. Let's wait and see what Steve's answer is. It's so great that you're here. You've made my night, Steve, because I'm serious. I was starting to worry. So Nala, you're new around here, I think. This may be your first live stream. So Steve is one of my first followers, and so is Lorene and Shannon and Will, and Jason. Got a lot of, and we've been. It's my son made a prediction when I started doing this. My son was the one who got me to do this, and he said, "Dad, you're going to get a whole brand new bunch of friends. It's going to be amazing. And he said, Dad, your personality is made perfect for this. And Steve and I are going to go to Florida at some point. But the other thing is that we're going to do, just so you know, we are going to do, Steve suggested a week ago or so that we're going to do a Zoom call so that all of us can kind of take it off list here. And I get to, hopefully, maybe if people turn on their video cameras, I get to see everybody. You get to see me. I have no idea what you look like. Anyway, we're waiting for Steve to type. He must be typing a whole Bible about what's going on. Anyway, we're going to do a Zoom call, but Steve once this whole nonsense about the illness is over, it is going to be over, by the way. He's maybe coming to Florida, and I'm telling you right now, Steve, if you're still here, I hope you are. The Florida trip, it's got to happen between like April 1st and December 1st. I cannot ever go to Florida in the wintertime because I have to be here for snow duty to take care of snow for Kathy. Anyway, maybe we do an Ask the Builder. I have a very small private group of people, internet mastermind entrepreneurs I deal with. We used to call them parachute drops. Here we go. Steve's got, so we call it a parachute drop. And what a parachute drop means, it could be like a last minute, somewhat last minute, not like let's meet tomorrow, because all of us are spread out across the United States. But somebody might say, hey, let's all go, let's all meet down in Florida in 2 weeks, or let's meet in, I don't know, let's meet out at the Grand Canyon in 2 weeks. And we would do it, some of us. You know, you have to have enough planning time to be able to get the tickets or do whatever. So maybe we do an Ask the Builder parachute drop somewhere. I'm all for it. Here we go. Steve says, it's been really busy. That's all. Good. Okay. I've just got in. I was working too late to catch you guy. Okay, got it. I lost my, oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I've seen your profile picture as the dog. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. I'm sorry about that. I know exactly what you've been through. Like I said, what I said before you probably got here, Steve, is that it was so hard on me that I don't know that I could go through that again. I don't know. I mean, it was bad. Okay. So Steve, I'm going to devote all this to you. Do you have any questions before I get off of here? Do you have anything? Oh, 15. Wow. So lady was 13 when she passed away. Because we got Lady the dog. That's what I always called her, Lady the dog. We got her right when I moved up here to New Hampshire in 2008. So anyway, yeah, exactly. That's Nala on the left. So the reason I put that photo up is because we have a new watcher today, a new viewer, Nala. You can see her in the chat. And I said, you're not going to believe it. We named our cat after you. And so I decided to show everyone a picture of Nala and our other cat, Finn. So that photo was taken maybe 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so Steve, do you have any questions, anything before I get off of here? I've been on an hour and a half. Is there anything I could answer? Because I'm sure you're hungry. You want to eat if you're getting in this late, want to spend time with your family. I get it. So I'll give you another 30 seconds because there's obviously a delay. Okay. Look at this channel. Okay. One bike on world. I'm going to write that down because what happens, the thing disappears when I log off. One bike, one bike, one world. Got it. Okay. I'll look at that channel. So I'll ask you one last question, Steve. Okay. All right, good. All right. Catch up next time. The only question I've got is, do you think that you're going to be working late a lot more? Has just work gotten really bad? Or are you pretty much getting caught up and getting back to your regular schedule? It could be yes, no, maybe. I don't care. And it's probably none of my business. Anyway, so Steve might answer. And once he answers, I'm going to get out of here. So, Will, if you're still here, you know what you got to do. Stick around. one of those bad people that Steve told us about could try to sneak in one of those links right at the end if we could get rid of it. So I'm going to wait to see if Steve's going to give us an answer. All right. So he may have gone. Oh, okay. There you go. Good. Yes, it's really hectic. Okay. No worries, man. You just need to know that we missed you. And we're starting to get far enough up this ladder that we can almost say we love you. All right. Not a romantic love, just that like a brother, that kind of love. So we were getting concerned. I'll be honest with you. And I understand that you can't check in. I get that. So I came up with a plan. My plan was, all right, let's go to his channel, comment on his videos, and he'll see those comments and he'll respond to us and let us know that he's okay. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to go. Thanks, Will, for sticking around. Will, make sure you please go to your Gmail and check it and let me know that you got all those responses. All right, please. The bottom line is, you and I, Will, we're playing golf, man. We are playing, and we're going to play the first day at 60 degrees, as long as the course is open. I mean, and as long as you say it's okay, whenever we can go. It's up to you. Okay, Steve, good night, buddy. I cannot wait to the Zoom call. And I hope you don't work so hard that it's affecting your health. It's just not a good thing. So anyway, we're so glad that you were here tonight. This is amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, Nala. Good night to you too. Good night, Steve. Good night, Will. Good night, Shannon. Good night, Lorene. Good night, Jason. And if I forgot you, I apologize. I had a great time. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being part of the live stream. It's just absolutely, it's really a lot of fun. You've heard me say that a million times. It is. I'm going to get out of here. Okay, Will, stick around for just a few seconds as I end the stream. Somebody may try to put one of those bad links in. Okay, good. You got that email. Good. All right, so we're playing golf. All right, awesome. Thank you for the invite. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. It'll be the first game of the year, but I'll probably be pretty bad. Doesn't matter. I'm not, just so you know, I am not one of those wrap the clubs around the tree guys. I'll tell you this real fast. When I lose golf balls, I actually get happy. Why? If you've ever golfed, remember that thing about endorphins in the dogs? It happens when you find a golf ball. Like if you go into the woods looking for your golf ball and you find 3 other ones, you come out like this. You think it's Christmas morning. I'm serious. You do. You go, oh man, I found 3 golf balls. So when I lose one, I go, I'm going to make somebody really happy with that. That's the type of golfer I am, just so you know. It's going to be a really, really good one. It's going to be a good time. I can tell you that right now. We're going to have a flipping blast. And we'll invite anybody else that might be nearby. If you want to play golf with Will and I know Will, I may be overstepping our bounds. We can make a foursome. Okay. All right, Steve. We want to play golf with you too, buddy. All right, I'm going to be out of here. I'm out of here. So, Steve, I'm so glad you came by and said hello. Good night, everyone. Good night, Steve. Good night, Will. Good night, Shannon. Good night, Lorene. Good night, Jason. Good night, Nala. Good night, Charles. I know there was a Charles up there. Just Dejo. Good night to you too, if you're still here. All right. Thanks so much. Pass the good word around about the live stream. I'll be here tomorrow. I'm Tim Carter. This has been Ask the Builder. I'll be back tomorrow.